Jacquelyn, we are back. We did this. We got a couple of different conversations around different things. We don't know. Maybe Scott will grab clips from this for some of the sales success stuff that we're a part of.
You never know.
It is the best time of year. Why is it the best time of year?
Because it's the Stanley Cup Playoffs, baby.
Who do the Hawks
Best
play?
sport. You know they're not in. Now, come
Oh,
on.
wait,
That's
they
mean.
didn't make it.
No, you know they didn't. They did not have a year. We're rebuilding. We're rebuilding.
You're rebuilding.
We're
I think
rebuilding.
it's ridiculous that you guys got Bedard way back when. The fix was in at some point in time, I think, on what happened there. Whenever you don't see the balls pulled right from the lottery thing and it comes out of an envelope, I think somebody's working some magic in the background, but that's me being skeptical and not trusting leadership with
I
an
think that's your
agenda.
tinfoil hat.
No, it's that whole, I mean, I don't trust leadership who has a specific agenda that is driven by certain things. Now he has an agenda. Those things are driven by certain things. But sometimes there are leaders who might be incentivized to move in a given direction, especially when you start talking about sports. But that is not, we're here to talk about sports. We're not here to talk about leadership. I'm hoping that this is the beginning of us getting back on track with getting the podcast out there. I don't know if it is. I'm busy doing a bunch of other things. I've got content. So if you are a fan of the Find My Catalyst podcast and you've been missing episodes, know that there are 365 other versions of this podcast that you can go back and listen to. And that content is evergreen. If you go to the really early stuff, you will hear, hopefully you'll see an improvement in how the podcast has been managed and how the content's been created. But a lot of stuff we talk about is evergreen. It's about people. It's about culture. It's about revenue. And it's about execution, all under
It's
the
one of my
umbrella
favorite podcasts.
leadership. Well, thank you. See, so we're off to a good start. I give you a hard time and you tell me it's one of your favorite podcasts. So let's get into the bracket.
Let's go.
Want to start with?
Well, I think we should start with my hometown team against the Vegas Golden Knights.
All right. How do they match up?
Well, so let's look at that. So right now, it looks like the Stars are a little bit better than the Vegas Golden Knights in terms of season points. So the Stars have 113 points for the season. Knights are at 98. Stars are a little bit better in terms of goals per game, nearly 3.6 goals per game. Vegas a little lower, 3.2. Goals against, they're pretty evenly matched. But Dallas is superior on the terms of the power play, getting goals 24% of the time with Vegas at 20. And then penalty kill, they're about evenly matched as well. As you know, their top scorer, at least on the Vegas side, is Jonathan Marchessault, and then Jason Robertson is the leading scorer for the Stars. So my prediction for this series in terms of who's going to win the series, I believe it will be the Dallas Stars. I think it'll take them at least 5 games. What about you?
All right. So the way that we'll do this is we go through each week, or not each couple of weeks, each round of the playoffs is
see how we did.
We'll give each other points for getting the team right. Will be number of games that we expect the series to go. So that's how we'll do this, and we'll come back and we'll talk about this in each round. So as we get to the next round, we'll have another one of these recordings. We'll go through first round matches, and then we'll get into next round matches.
Love it.
I am going to go with the Vegas Knights only because
you're just doing it because I'm going with Dallas.
Only because you're going with Dallas, and I would love to see the Knights upset the Stars. So here's how I think
it would be an upset. How do you think?
If this is in 6 games, and the reason it happens in 6 games is Vegas wins at home, and the way that they actually, you know what? I didn't even pay attention. Is this a 2-2-1-1-1 kind of series, or is it 2-2-2?
It should be 2-2-1-1-1.
Yeah, 2-2-1-1.
Unless they change something
based on that.
I don't know.
Every once in a while they move around the format a little bit. Some of this I'm going way back when the format was a little crazy. But I see Vegas splitting the first 2 games, maybe squeaking out a win in the first game. I see Vegas splitting the first 2 games and then winning in Las Vegas in game 6. How about you?
I just don't see I don't see that scenario. I think Dallas is going to win it. I think they'll they'll take at least one at home. Vegas will win at least one at home. So it's probably going to go at least 6 games. What I was saying, it would take at least 5. It's going to be 6. I think that Dallas is going to win. If I'm right about where they're starting out, if the first 2 games are in Dallas, let's say they take both and then they win one in Vegas, they're positioned to win at home. Otherwise, they'll win on the road. But I'm going to go with them winning at home early on.
All right.
We'll see.
So that
Okay.
goes to that's and the Avalanche.
Yes, it does. All right. You want to go? Do you want to give the analysis here, or do you want me to?
Well, I'm not even going to go analysis. You can give the analysis. I'm going to tell you, I think Winnipeg runs away with this. Oh, primarily because of goaltending. And so Winnipeg goaltending, I don't know if this is going to be a short series or not, but I'll say 5 games because I think Colorado with the talent they've got, they figure out a way to at least win one. Winnipeg in 5.
Mm-hmm. So you're saying Winnipeg in 5. I'm going to say Colorado, not just because of that, but I just think that Colorado is better positioned. So from what I can tell from the analysis, the only metric that they're losing to the Jets are in terms of season points, and they're pretty evenly matched there. The Avs are ahead in goals per game. Goals, they're also ahead in the unfortunate category of goals scored against them. But they are far superior on the power play and the penalty kill, excuse me. So, and they've got Nathan Fresh for this. He's got 138 points on the season. So I'm going to say the Avs. I think it's going to take them 7 games though.
All right. So we got Avs in 7 for you, Jets in 5 for me. Vancouver, Nashville.
Ooh, okay. So it's going to be like a slight up according to the, how this looks, because Nashville's the wild card. I think they're going to be the upset of the Canucks. Is as good as Vancouver's. The Canucks have JT Miller in terms of their leading scoring at 103 points. They're evenly matched on power play and penalty kill. And season points, the Canucks have 10 points on them. So Canucks at 109 points and Nashville at 99. I think Nashville's going to upset them, and I think it'll be 7 games. So I'm going with the Preds in 7. And you're going with Canucks, how many games?
I'm going to go Preds in 6. I see an upset here.
Oh, you're switching?
Switching to what?
I thought you said Canucks. I thought you said the Canucks have been. Nope. So you're saying Preds in 6, you said?
Preds in 6.
I love it.
And the reason
we're on the same page for
6 is I see Preds winning at home 6th game. It's such an important game. And that is one of those atmospheres where I've never been to a game in Nashville, but when you see the city kind of come together, going to a game, that flow that happens down the street, I think there's a lot of energy that'll be there. I'm going to go Preds in 6. So this will be the first one where we actually may have to go to a tiebreaker, because I think we both said Preds. You said 7. I said 6.
I love it. We'll have to see. All right, let's see. So I've gone with Nashville. All right, so next up, Oilers, Kings. Slight favorite for the Oilers. I would say I'm going to go with the Oilers. I actually like the Kings better. Normally, my loyalty would have me shoot for the Kings here, but I think Edmonton's going to win this. We need a Canadian team to advance in the brackets. They're a little bit ahead of LA in terms of season points and goals per game, but they're also leading in goals against. So see, with people scoring a little bit more against the Oilers, I'm not sure how their goaltending is this season. I'm not really familiar with them. Better power play for sure for Edmonton, a better penalty kill for LA. But I'm going to go with the Oilers in 6.
I'm going to go Kings. And the reason I'm going to go with the Kings is I think the Oilers are leaking oil going into the playoffs. So
they're leaking oil.
They look like they're leaking oil. They've had a couple of rough games the last 2 weeks, and I don't know if that's resting players. I don't know what's going on, but I'm going to go Kings, and I'm going to go Kings in 7.
Kings in 7.
But I wouldn't be surprised if this is actually a sweep where the Kings go in there and roll on the Oilers.
The Kings are going to sweep McJesus?
My bold prediction is Kings sweep the Oilers, but since it's really not going to come down to games, I'm going to go Kings in 7. So this is kind of cool. We are against each other.
It's either 4
almost
or 7.
Every series. I like it.
We're doing what?
I said, we're against each other in just about every series. Like there's going to be some separation that's going to happen on the Western side of this bracket right after round one.
Well, we've always been frenemies when it comes to hockey.
Yeah.
I mean, for example, today you've got on your Islanders gear, who because of your insults of my team, I'm not allowed to root for the Islanders. So
Yeah. So,
I'm unveiling my Caps jersey
I,
today.
I understand. Some people just have poor judgment. I get it. Like, I don't hold it against you. That's going to be, I would like to say, well, maybe just based on the way the bracket's laid out, we're going to get into those two series, the Isles and Kane series and the Rangers Cap series, probably as our last group.
Those are the
Uh,
last two. So,
but
all right, let's get
let's
the
hit
boring Florida
Florida and
crap over with.
Tampa. Yeah. What do you think
So
happens
we have
here?
the two Florida teams are going against one another, which is fascinating to me. I'm definitely going. Here's the thing: love Nikita Kucherov, 144 points on the season, amazing player. I just I don't see Tampa Bay winning this series. So as much as I'd like to see Tampa Bay win the series, I think they're going to lose it. I think Florida is going to win it, Florida Panthers. So we got two Florida teams in this matchup. So advantage for Florida on the season, 110 points. They are not as good as Tampa Bay in terms of goals scored per game, but in goals against per game, Florida is doing far superior to Tampa Bay. In terms of power play and penalty kill, evenly matched on the penalty kill. The Lightning have an edge on the power play, and they have Nikita Kucherov. So I would love to see Tampa Bay win because some of my favorite players are on their team, even though they're not my favorite team. And one of my favorite defensemen, you know him well. But Victor Hedman.
Yeah.
But I think the Panthers are going to win. I think it's going to take them 7 games, though, because Tampa Bay is a force to be reckoned with. Or I should say Victor Hedman is a force to be reckoned with.
Right.
So I'll
So
say Panthers in 7.
I'm going to go Panthers in 5. I'm going to go
Ooh,
Panthers in
5.
5. And the reason I'm going to go Panthers in 5 is that I think the Panthers close them out at home. I
Mm-hmm.
don't think there's a sweep in this one. I do
Mm-mm.
think Tampa's getting old, which is kind of funny to say. And I mean, it happens to these teams. I think
Yeah.
Tampa's getting old. If you are in Tampa or if you're in Florida or you're a hockey fan, go watch a game at Amalie Arena. It's worth making the trip out there. There's some awesome hotels right around the arena. You can make it a night, a weekend, or whatever. If you're out there, go enjoy a game. That arena gets pretty crazy. I was fortunate enough to go see game one with the entire family back when the Isles and the Lightning played each other in 2021. And then Sean and I made the trip out there to go see the Isles and the Lightning play in game seven, and the Islanders lost
Wow.
that game. But it's awesome, awesome arena to go watch a game in. I'm going to go Panthers primarily because I think Tampa is getting old. I think Florida is a really strong team. They got a lot of experience last year in their run, and I'm going with 5 games only because you went with 7, and I didn't want to throw 6 in there. So 5 Florida Panthers, and that is my prediction.
I love it. Okay. Now we're coming up to Boston and the Leafs. So Bruins versus the Leafs. I love the Boston Bruins. I know you hate me for that. They are my second favorite team next to my Blackhawks. Having lived in New Hampshire for a while, they became my adopted team. And I'm going to go with Bruins. I think they're going to win in 6. They have an advantage over the Leafs. The Leafs have a decent record, right? It's number 2 and 3 seed here. So Bruins have a little bit of an edge in points for the season at 109. The Leafs have an advantage in goals per game, but they also are higher on the goals against. So that's a concern for the Leafs in that perspective. So they've got more teams scoring on them. Power play fairly evenly matched. Boston's got a slight edge in penalty kill. Both two amazing goal scorers, Dave Pastrnak for the Bruins and Austin Matthews for the Leafs. I'm going to say, as I want the Bruins to win, and I think they'll win in 6. But I have to tell you, I will not be sad if the Leafs win, only because they need to win a Stanley Cup in my lifetime. Or I'll be sad for my friend who's a huge Leafs fan. They've got to win a cup in my lifetime. I need to see that.
Jacquelyn, you're too nice. Not only to your friends and all that other stuff. But that's nice that and you're not very nice to me throwing that Caps crap up there. Other than it's an OV jersey, and it's going to be awesome to see OV play in the playoffs, and a little bit of hope kind of thing, not a brain kind of thing. I am going to go Leafs, and I'm going to go Leafs in. I'm going to go Leafs as a sweep.
Leafs sweep. Leafs in four.
I'm going to go Leafs as a sweep. However, there's the asterisk. If they give up one game at home and they go into home up 3-1 in game 5, I could see Boston rolling out 3 and winning it in 7 and just sending every single Leafs fan home crying. And that would actually, I would get joy out of that. So like
for the Leafs fan crying, you hate both these teams.
I hate both of these teams. I hate just about every team on this side of the bracket, with the exception of one. And I'm
your team.
I am wearing their colors. So this is kind of a heart, ego, twisted perspective of saying, hey, you know what? I'd like to see the Leafs go. I think the Leafs can sweep the Bruins. I think it's going to be a tough series. It's still going to be knocked down, drag out kind of series. And if that can happen, I think it creates some really interesting matchups in the later rounds.
Oh yeah.
So I'm going to go Leafs in 4. And I think there's a high risk that they give. I think there's a high risk that if they give up a game, they end up
or anywhere. Yeah.
They end up losing the series. But all right. Rangers Caps.
Your Schadenfreude pick. There we go. Okay. Rangers Caps. All right. So in every category, the Rangers have the edge for obvious reasons. They have Artemi Panarin, the bread man, my favorite player that used to work for my team. One of my favorite players anyway. So they've got Panarin with 120 points on this season. I want Capitals to win. I don't think they're going to. This is a historic and fun rivalry between the Rangers and the Caps. So I would love to see the Rangers lose, but I don't think they're going to. So I think the Rangers are going to win. I think the series will go 7. So I'm going to say Rangers in 7.
All right. I'm going to say Rangers 2. I'm going to say Rangers in 6 only because you said Rangers in 7. It's just so that we don't get ourselves into a situation where we both tie through here. I think the Rangers have built a phenomenal team, and it pains me to say it and see it. I think Washington is coming in to the playoffs hot. So is the team that we're going to talk about next. I think they're the two teams that are coming in really, really hot. If you look at their last 10 games, the Isles are, I think, 9-0-1 in their last 10. I might be off on that.
Islanders have the worst record of almost any team in the playoffs, or pretty close, right?
Yep. Okay.
So only won 39 games.
Nothing leading up to today counts, matters, anything. It's the playoffs.
It's reset.
It is completely reset. It is. They don't have the worst.
Right.
They've got the Caps have to have lower points because the Isles ended up getting the number 3 seed in their division. So I don't know what the numbers look like. We'll take a look at that as we go through. But I'm going to go Rangers, and I'm going to go Rangers in 6 because I think this is going to be a long series, and I think the Rangers are. I wouldn't be surprised if the Rangers lose the first 2 games and then roll off 4. Like I just think the Capitals are coming in so strong right now that
they have the momentum.
This could be a tough series, but the Rangers look good. Like they look really good. All right, let's talk about. We all know who I'm
your favorite.
So let's talk about the Canes Islanders.
Right. Well, since we know who you're going to pick, I'll tell you who I'm going to pick. I would actually, in spite of the crap that you say to me about my team, for your sake, I would love for your team to win, but they're not going to. So I think it's the Canes. They have the edge in just about every sense of the, in terms of statistics, which means nothing. I know you're saying momentum matters. So the Islanders have it on the momentum side. Canes have points in the season, 111 versus 94. more goals per game, fewer goals against per game, superior on the power play, superior on the penalty kill. But the thing about the Canes and the Islanders, instead of like having like a star point scorer, they've got more even scoring across their lineups, right? So you're seeing, they've got top scorers both teams, but it's a little bit more evenly spread than what you see in some of the other teams. So I think it's going to be the Canes, and I think they're going to win it in 7 because I think the Islanders are going to make them pay for it. I know you're choosing the Isles. I'm assuming.
Absolutely choosing the Isles. And there's part of me because I'm a Jets fan. I'm an Islanders fan. I kind of feel like, hey, if I pick against my team, maybe it boosts them to go through. That's just the what are those called? I'm losing my mind. When you do something the same way before you go into a game, it's a
superstition.
Superstition. So there's superstition that it gets all kind of organized around this. Like there's all kind of mental stuff that you run into when you are a fan of any team that has any kind of history on the island, whether it's the Jets when they were playing at Shea or the Islanders when they were playing in the old barn. Like there's a kind of, you don't want to pick and hurt your team. I get it. I have no influence, no control over any of that kind of stuff, but it's still fun to talk about. I absolutely believe the Islanders are going to win this series. It scares me if it goes 7. I think the Isles win it in 6. I think they win it at home in 6. So one of the things you see on any of these upsets, I've got the team that's winning on the upset side, winning at home and taking that momentum. And if you've ever been to an Islander game in New York, as I know
I have,
at least the two of us have been, you know what kind of energy is happening inside that arena, regardless of what arena it is, whether it's in Belmont or back in the day in Uniondale. So I'm going to go Isles in 6. On a positive note, I think we only have the same team picked in just a couple of series. What are the series where our picks were the same?
We each picked the Preds. We each picked the Panthers.
We each picked the Preds.
And we both picked the Rangers.
Both picked the Rangers.
We both picked the Rangers. We both picked the Panthers. We both picked the Preds. And Rangers, Panthers.
All right. So.
Yep. We both got the Preds. I said in 7, you said in 6.
Okay.
Because I picked Dallas, you picked Vegas. I picked Colorado Avalanche. You picked the Jets. We both picked the Preds. You picked the Kings. I picked the Oilers. We both picked the Panthers. I picked Boston. You picked the Leafs. Your hedge bet was Boston in 7, just in case. And then we both picked the Rangers. And you, of course, picked your Isles, and I picked the Hurricanes.
All right, so there we go. Those are the picks. Watch the playoffs, build out your bracket, check out NHL.com or whatever system you want to go look at. These are always fun things to do with family. There's nothing like watching playoff hockey. There's an intensity, there's an electricity. A year ago tomorrow, Jacquelyn and I were together with a group of people out in the greater Austin metropolitan area at Golf and Sales. And we were all rallying around.
Was that my natural birdie day?
I forget what day. I think you had your natural birdie day on the 21st because we officially kicked off on the 20th, and I think you did that on the second day because that was the day that we ended up playing in the same group. So Jacquelyn, after picking up clubs on her way down to the event, ended up birdieing a par 3 after the 3 other players that she was playing with in the group both put their shots into unplayable territory. So, and it was absolutely awesome. And it's a testament to what can happen when you bring together a group of people who are committed to leadership of self, committed to helping others. And they come together in a group of folks in an environment where they all share a specific experience. And in this instance, it was golf. And there are so many different ways to do this. You can do it. I know Scott does his surf and sales. There are a number of other ways to go through and find your community of people where you can come together as a group and really get a lot of things done. And never estimate what a small group of people can accomplish. And is it Maya Angelou or Margaret Mead? I forget who said it, but she said never underestimate what a small group of people can accomplish. And in fact, it is the only thing that has. So go out there and accomplish something. Jacquelyn, anything else to say as we wrap up?
Go Caps.
Get
Go
that
Bees.
trash out of here. Get that trash out of here. All right. Sales is a thinking process. Business is a thinking process. Life is a thinking process. How are you thinking differently about your process? If you made it to this far, please let us know what you thought about this conversation. What would you like to see as we go forward? If you are looking for your community, check out the work that Jen and I are doing with the Phoenix Club. We are just getting started. We are just starting to rise. We are pulling together a group of preneurs. And if you want to know what a preneur is, it's someone who thinks differently because they want to do differently, whether they're doing it inside an organization, an intrapreneur, whether they're doing it building their own organization, hiring people, an entrepreneur, whether they want to do it on their own and never want to hire people, a solopreneur, or you're like I was a number of years ago, never had the guts to go out and do it on my own. And I was a wantrepreneur. So if you are a preneur, someone who thinks differently and wants to do differently, come join us with the Phoenix Club. Thanks, Jacquelyn.
Yeah.